Good morning and welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today, as always. And as I said before, it's dark outside because the days are getting shorter and I don't like wintertime. I know why people move south in the winter, to stay warm, because it gets damn cold up here. I'd like to have a place in Colombia in the mountains where it's like springtime all year round. I have a place in mind. Anyway, moving right along. Today's topic is going to be age. Age is a state of mind. Well, I know we all get older, but guess what? A baby is born, and from the day it's born, it's getting older every minute of every day. And even if you're 60 or 70, you're getting older. We are all getting older, and all of us get old, as we call it. That is, if we are lucky enough to enjoy that privilege. Many people don't get old, as far as old in years and our body decaying and all those things. They die before their time, some people say. But I think we die at the exact time we choose to die. Now, many of you may disagree with me on that, but I think we choose our time to come into this world and our time to die. Maybe not consciously, but the higher self, the higher part of us, the God part of us, if you like, chooses that. But what I say is many people many people are buried before they ever die. They think they're old at 30. They say a man doesn't reach his peak value, or sexual market value, some people say, until he's about 35 years old. In his 20s, he's running around chasing women. But by the time he's 35, he is established, or he should be established for the rest of his life. Some of us are late starters, such as myself. I was established several times and, of course, got connected or married to the wrong woman and lost everything and had to start over again. But that's the way it worked for me. It doesn't have to work that way for you if you vet your woman properly. And I can't really recommend marrying in the United States because the laws of the court systems are so involved in marriage, divorce, separation, alimony, child support, all these things. So you don't have much say when it comes to your children or your wife when she decides she wants to go, or your assets or anything. The court becomes involved and they tell you what they're going to do with your assets. But back to age, we'll go into that on another day. Back to age, I remember when I was about 27 and I looked in the mirror and I thought, man, I looked old. I really did. I thought I seen a gray hair or two or a white hair or two, and I really felt like I was getting old. It had nothing to do with my appearance, but everything to do with what was going on the inside of me. I had been living a life for myself. Okay, and if you live a life for yourself, you more or less take from everyone else to satisfy your own pleasures and your own wants. You're not giving to the world. And when you look in the mirror, you don't like what you see, but you think it's your appearance. And in a way, it is your appearance, but it's not the appearance on the outside. It's the appearance on the inside. If you ever look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, it's because there's things on the inside that are manifesting on the outside of yourself, either in the illusion of your sight, or maybe you're gained a lot of weight. Maybe you are too skinny, or maybe you're skinny fat, or whatever it happens to be. You don't like your body. That is a manifestation of what's going on the inside of you, especially if you're overweight. I've been overweight before, so don't call me a fat basher. I was fat. Let's call it what it is. I was fat. I was 184 pounds, and when I tried to run, my legs rubbed together and galled it. I think it's called galled at me. I hated it. I didn't even want to go out. Now, that's 30 pounds heavier than I am now. A lot of you wouldn't think that's much, but 25 pounds constitutes obese. 25 pounds overweight constitutes obese. So I was obese. I never thought about it that way until about right now. And it was miserable. I hated the way I felt. I kind of jiggled when I walked. My pants were tight. My belly hung over. Man, it sucked. Now, I wouldn't call myself healthy when I was like that, because I wasn't. I was binging and purging, eating too much. But I felt old then. Even though I wasn't old, I actually felt miserable. Later on, though, I started doing triathlons, and I got my weight down to some reasonable, about 172, but I was a lot of muscles then, more than I am now. I don't have the muscle mass I had then because I was swimming and riding bicycles and like as I said, doing triathlons. But during that time, I didn't feel too old, but I still didn't like what I saw in the mirror. Every time I looked in the mirror, I thought I needed to build up a little here, lose a little weight there. I was never satisfied with my body when I looked in the mirror. And I thought I was getting old. Well, it's funny, today I'm 61 and I don't feel as old or look as old to myself when I look in the mirror. It doesn't matter what you think, it's what I think about myself. And what I think about others is what's important. Because whatever I feel and really believe about myself will be projected out into my world and will come back to me. It will be reflected back to me. If I don't respect myself or value myself, that will be reflected back to me. If I think I'm old, or I feel old, or act like I'm old because that's what I'm accepting or my perception of life, then people will treat me as such. But I don't feel that way, and I don't get treated that way. I don't remember the last time, I spent about 3 years, a girl said to me on a site, "You're old enough to be my grandpa." I said, well, that may be, but your grandpa can't do things to you that I can do to you. So I didn't care, it didn't bother me. But when I was younger, maybe in my 20s, no, I remember when I was about 30, I got my first Lotus. I was probably 36, in the prime of my life, but I didn't know it at the time. And I picked this girl up and we were riding around in my car. And she said something to me, "Well, you're old," or something. And I'm like, and it bothered me. I thought, gosh, yeah, I guess so. And now it's like, I don't feel as old as I did then. So what has changed? Certainly my body is older. I have more wisdom. I've learned more in my life, hopefully, than what I knew then. But yet, I don't have anybody say anything to me about being old. It doesn't bother me. Nobody says anything, but I don't feel old. I'm around young people all the time. My kids are young. Hell, I might have another kid. Sure, my hair is white or brown or whatever, gray, whatever you want to call it. But it's really in your perception of life and how you feel. The people I admire, just like in my 20s, when I seen guys in their 50s with six packs, I thought, I want to be like that. And I'm like that now. And now I see people in their 80s that are out there working and enjoying life, and I admire those people. I want to be like those people. That is kind of my goal. When I was 17 or 16 or 17, I worked for a man who was 76 years old, and that man could work me under the table. We dig ditches, we dug out underneath houses to put in heating and cooling pipes and vents and different things like that. And that guy dug under there 8 hours a day, and I'd pull the dirt out and load it up on a wheelbarrow, and we'd put it in a pile. And he dug that sucker out, 76, 77 years old. Now see, that's what I admire. Met a guy the other day that's 80-something. He's driving a truck. He's not gonna retire. He's still living his life. Is he old? Yes, in body, but in mind and spirit, he's not old. So if you're looking in the mirror today and you think you're old and you're what, 29, 30, 31, 40 years old, what do they do now? They give you a black balloon when you turn 40? Shit, life's just beginning at 40, guys. Don't sweat it. I mean, I do more things now than I did when I was younger. My life is more enjoyable now. My life is fuller. I would not go back if I had the chance. I would only go back if I could go back with the wisdom and knowledge I have today. And I don't really want to go back. I love my life the way it is today, more so than I did when I was 50 or 40. Many people, how do I say, I want to say grandize. I can't think of the word. They admire youth or venerate or worship youth. And actually, to be older and to have some wisdom is actually much better than youth. Youth can only get you so far, but wisdom can accomplish many things. And as far as getting women, it's easier for me now than it was when I was younger. And I'm not talking about women my age or women even half my age. I'm talking about women in their early 20s. It's not that difficult if you can travel. And I'm not going over to the Philippines or Asia. I'm talking about right here in the Americas. There's a lot of beautiful women here, not in the US, but if you go south down to Colombia, different places like that, they still respect men. They don't think the same way about age as they do here in the U.S. They still honor and respect older people. In a lot of places in the world, they realize the wisdom that an older person has. And an older man is more established than a younger man, too. He's more stable, he's more secure, and he has some wisdom that younger men don't have. And if you've been with women and you've studied women, you've learned women, you've had some relationships, you know how to treat a woman. And it's not to pamper her and treat her like a queen. You've learned these things in your life. So don't be sad or upset or bummed out about getting older. Now, if you don't take care of yourself and your body and eat right and meditate, spirituality, whatever that means to you, then don't expect to feel well when you get older. If you run to get a pill every time something's wrong with you, yes, that's not going to add to your vigorous outlook or vigorous feeling later in life. You can't run to take a pill every time something's wrong with you. You have an immune system. You have a magnificent body, an inner knowing that takes care of you. You don't have to think about breathing every night before you go to sleep. You don't have to regulate the blood to go to all the organs. You don't have to break down the food. All that is done for you if you take care of what you're supposed to take care of, and that's your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. When you take care of that, everything else is taken care of. Do what's in front of you. Do the next right thing. If you got some stuff in your closet, some baggage you're carrying around, clean that up. Clean up your past the best you can. Make amends where you've done harm so you can walk around guilt-free, unafraid of people. Not afraid to meet people because you have things in the past that you don't want brought up, or you owe people money, whatever it happens to be. Make those things right, and then you'll be right within yourself. And then when you look in the mirror, you'll see something different. You'll like what you see, no matter what your age in numbers is. Because what you see in the mirror is who you are, not your appearance so much. I hope that's been of value to you today. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow.